All right, this week we have seen what feels like early winter weather with freezing temperatures and wind and even a little bit of snow.
Just about all of us have seen some snowflakes and flurries. What can we expect this winter? It is time for David's Winter Outlook. Chief Meteorologist David Glenn joins us now. We'll get to the forecast in just a minute. So, David, see Kim wearing her coat here.
Yeah, my
So
hands are freezing.
I don't know if this is prophetic of what you're going to say, but what's the winter going to look like?
I think she's dressed appropriately here.
Oh, that's good to
Now,
know.
this is my favorite forecast to give each and every year. Again, when I came back home 8 years ago, I said I'm going to continue that Storm Track 9 tradition that began 30 years ago of giving that annual winter forecast. And I love preparing it. It's something that takes weeks, months, and we just sort of we're going to present it to you and see what you think.
I'm ready. Let's get the drum roll
Looking at
going.
all the plans and everything.
Yes. Now, again, people ask me, how do you make the forecast? Well, there's no set of directions, no recipe. So what I rely on is studying past seasons, looking at the overall fall setup and seeing how it equates to other seasons in the past. You can start to find similarities here and there. Also, we take into account what's happening globally right now. We've got warm water along the U.S. coast and the Atlantic, cooler cycle in the Pacific, and especially in the Arctic regions through Europe and Asia. The expanding snow and ice pack that really didn't melt much during the summer months. Some of those factors lead up and suggest that we could see colder than normal temperatures across North America and including here in the southeast. But even as you study past patterns, you have to realize no two winters are exactly alike. Sometimes when you study all the patterns, it could be something totally different. The weather's going to do what it wants to do. I also factor in folklore because as a little boy growing up in Chickamauga, Georgia, I had my sweet grandmother tell me that if you want to know what's going to happen in the winter, count those fogs in August. And I did, and I still do today. As far as how many we had some light fog in August, but we had one dense fog early in August. And folklorists tell you that if you have a dense fog, that could mean a deep snow ahead. Woolly worms, I saw all the photos you guys sent in. No banding on the worms this year, which folklorists tell us could be a severe winter. Also, the trees are chock full of hickory nuts and walnuts. Now, that's a byproduct of the weather that happened about 18 months ago. But nevertheless, folklorists will tell you that when the trees are chock full of hickory nuts and walnuts, that could mean a cold winter ahead. Now, some of the folklore has been hit and miss as I've looked at that and researched it. But you never overlook it. You never ignore it because nature can give you some telltale signs. Now, after looking at all the past seasons, some of the similarities there, kind of formulating what a pattern could look like this winter. And we've already seen a taste of that just in the past couple of weeks. We have what's known as a blocking pattern. We've got a huge ridge developing over the Pacific coast of the U.S., which then allows for cold air to really drop down over the southeast. Again, we saw that last week and over the past 10 days, and we could see this again coming up late next week with another Arctic surge of air. One other factor to factor in, not just the fact that it could be colder than average, but this jet last season was centered farther south. This may be centered more north and west of us, but still enough where we could have colder than average temperatures. Something else to factor in is a weak El Nino. Now, unlike the strong El Ninos that bring all the storminess with it, this one has to be factored in because when you have a pattern where it's cold over the east and southeast and introduce the southern branch of the jet stream being a little more active, this can mean some borderline situations where either we get a cold rain or it increases your chances that you could see some wintry precipitation. So there's going to be a lot to watch potentially into the winter ahead, especially if that blocking pattern develops. And that's something we'll be watching as we go through the season. So for right now, I believe we're going to have temperatures back below normal. I still think we're going to have some Arctic blasts. That pattern kind of repeat itself that we've already seen. But of course, we live in the southeast, so from time to time, it will be milder at times. And we'll be thankful of that. As far as winter snowfall, that's a big category. Our yearly average is just under 4 inches anyway. So one snow event can provide you a year's worth of snow. But I think, like last year, our snow chances are going to be above average. With that active branch of the jet stream, it could mean even some ice threats as well that we've really got to watch for. So we're going to keep an eye on that. So let me give you the summary here. The overall winter outlook that we're looking at here is colder than average. I think above normal chances for snow, and got to watch those ice threats. Hey, as far as rainfall, because that's important as well, leading into spring, I think we do have a good shot of getting normal winter rainfall, which again goes back to that southern branch of the jet stream, which could be a little active with that weak El Nino. So that's something we'll be watching as well through the season. The weather's going to do what it wants to do, but as always, we always, at the end of winter, look back at what we said for the season and grade the forecast.
Okay.
We'll do, David. Thank you. Appreciate it. We appreciate you.